Hello everyone, this is the basic course of Fixed Maintenance College. I hope you can get more new and important knowledge from each lesson of this basic course. Okay, now I'll teach you some basic motherboard repair materials and what they can do. This is tweezers. As you can see that one tweezer is straight, another one is curved. These two are entry-level tweezers. The material is hard, not easy to damage, mostly used for motherboard chip disassembly. This is the second tweezer. The material of this tweezer is ceramic, so it is anti-magnetic. The tip of the tweezer is hard, sharp and thick enough, so it can be used for disassembly and assembly of motherboard chips and jumper. This is the third type of tweezers. This is high-level repair tweezers. It is more precise, sharper, easier to disassemble and assemble chips and jumper, but it is easy to break. Next, I will introduce you the blade. Here are two blade sets. Part of the chip is need to be pried off with a blade, and the chip pad processing, edge glue and other places need to use a blade. You will see which blade is used for which step in later lesson. The one on the left is SS101C, which is an advanced switch for mobile phone repair, scraper, sickle blade. On the right is the medium level repair blade, RL101B. This set had 8 blades, and they all are commonly used. This is clean room, which is a dust-free cloth. And this thing we need to use in every repair cleaning work. Because the motherboard repair is sophisticated, if there are small dirt or foreign objects under the chip, it will affect the connection between the chip and motherboard, resulting in abnormal function controlled by the chip. And this material is better than the tissue. Okay, this is next one. This is flux paste, which is used to soldering. This is one of the most important materials for motherboard repair, because it can help with soldering. The conditions for choosing such products are that the flux should be clear, good weldability, less smoke, and not heavy smell. So we recommend using this model. You can also use it with a syringe to make the place where flux is added more accurate. And this is PCB holder, which is used to clamp the motherboard so that it will not move during maintenance. This one supports iPhone 5X to iPhone XR. You can find other PCB holder with higher versions online. This is PCB water, which is used to clean the PCB board. When we handle the motherboard may have flux and glue or other foreign matter. We need to use PCB water to clean the motherboard. When the phone gets water damage, we also need to use it for cleaning. The next one is the reball stencil, which is used to reball. Because when we remove the chip, the thin ball of the chip have been deformed or shift. So we need to let the thin point of the chip back to thin ball. And this is 2D stencil, and in the market also have 3D stencil. You can check online to see if it is suitable for you. The materials used in our courses are cost effective. You can find other brands and models online. And the Reballing BJ stencil has many categories for different mobile phones models. You need to pay attention when buying. And this is soldering wick, which is used to clean the tin. It can absorb tin, then it will become silvery white. We need to cut off the discolored ones before continuing to use. When we remove the chips, the pad also have thin point and glue. We need to clean them and let it be flat. Otherwise, in the pad, some place upper, some place lower. And the thin point of the chips cannot connect all pins of pad well. And that chip function will not work. Okay, this is thin paste, which is used to microsoldering. This melting point of this thin paste is about 180 degrees. In the market also have the 138 degrees thin paste. And the original tin in the motherboard, the melting point is more higher. So when we handle the board, we need to add those lower melting point tin paste, so that it can more easy to clean the original tin. And we also use it for reball the chip. Thin wire and thin paste, the difference is status. One is solid and the other is liquid. They act in different places. You will see it in the following lessons. And this thin wire melting point also is 180 degrees. And this is UV light, which is used to let the UV paste faster curing. Next, we will see UV paste. As you can see, it has many colors, but generally we just use green. So some people will call it green oil. The UV paste is used to insulate part of the circuit or solder joint. Because two lines contact will cause a short circuit, so we need to use the UV paste to insulate it. Okay, the introduction of the basic materials is over. Continue our lesson today. This lesson shows you how to handle the medium-sized encapsulated chip. We will show you the Wi-Fi chip as a case. The difficulty of remove and install of this Wi-Fi chip is still relatively high, because there are many small components near this chip. The second is that the back of the Wi-Fi chip is the CPU. If the blowing time is too long, the temperature cannot be grasped well, which may cause CPU failure. So this lesson teaches everyone how to master this technique and some details that need to be processed in the process of our processing. Next, look at some of my operation. Put the motherboard in the PCB holder. What we need to repair is the Wi-Fi chip in this position. Take out the curved blade. We can see that the Wi-Fi chip has glue here, connected to this chip. There is a logic EEPROM nearby. It is a glass chip, which is relatively easy to break. So compared to these medium-sized chips with glue, the difficulty of Wi-Fi is relatively high. This piece is broken. Change one. This is a glass IC that is easy to break. Once broken, it will restart repeatedly. Here we see this chip is a bit broken. I don't care about it. If the operation is not done properly, it will break the phone and restart repeatedly. Failure of logic EEPROM will cause restart. Next, remove the glue and use this curved blade to remove the glue. In addition to these places, when the curved blade cannot put in, we can change the blade. Because the curved blade is not thin enough here, you can also polish it tinely. 270 degrees, 45 Win. Start to remove glue. First, remove the side glue on this side. Replace the nozzle. This is too big. It is enough to replace it with a medium-sized nozzle. Now start to remove glue. Warm up for a few seconds. Try to see if it can move. If you can push, you need to move out the gun and continue to blow if you can't push. Because there are no components here, just remove the glue. Also, here, this place is we insert the blade. We have to clean it up. And the knife should be inclining a little bit like this. You can see that my air gun is constantly moving, and you cannot be directly at one place always. The NAND is also the same as this Wi-Fi. It is all the same. You can refer to the NAND. When there are components like this, be careful not to blow for too long. Scrape like this, a little to scrape. You can blow 1 second, then scrape. You can move out the gun when the glue is loose, and keep blowing when it is too hard. This glue must be cleaned. If it is not clean, it will be like this. Also, if the curved blade cannot be inserted, you use big power to insert, it will break like this. We can sharpen this blade a bit thinner. Don't force it if you can plug it in. Now it can be replaced with a size 11 blade because it is sharper and thinner. Don't worry about it here. Let's do it now. Then try not let the nozzle to blow to this side. Try to blow it out. Because the bottom side is CPU. In A9 CPU, the CPU is easy to swell. We can pick it like this. This way the edge glue can be removed cleanly. There may be a little bit under it, but it doesn't affect us to remove this one. The bottom is a bit deep, we can't get it. Next, remove the Wi-Fi chip. Use this knife to disassemble the Wi-Fi chip. Remember to recognize the front and back of the blade. There is a diagonal down here. We want to go in like this. You can't go in this way, because the knife will be higher if you go in this way. There are no components here. You can go in from this position. The temperature is 360. The direction must belong to the direction where there is no CPU. Do not blow in the direction of the CPU. In this case, the wind will bring the temperature here. It is easy to burst and cause the CPU to malfunction. Let's start to disassemble now, and the knife will be at this position. Don't raise it too high. You must stick to this position and go in like this. Start to disassemble and hit first. You can see that the knife has gone in a bit. We can insert a little bit in each position. When we plug it in very easily, we can see that it has started to move. We can just turn it slightly like this. Don't turn too hard, because some places have not melted the tin, so it is easy to drop some pins. You can also use another kind of knife. This kind of knife is harder. Let me show you another knife. You can see this kind of blade, because this kind of blade is relatively thin and it can be like this. You can keep the blade chip against it like this and then blow at it. Keep moving the hot air gun. Temperature is not enough. It is easy to see this. Keep on blowing. Heat it up a little bit, then gently pry it off. Just push it here slowly, bit by bit. After the tin melts here, you can turn it a little bit. Just use a little force. Then for the removed chip, handle the pad first. Because there is a residual temperature on the pad now, it is easier to handle. Now add a little solder flux paste. Still replace the original high temperature tin above with low temperature tin. Then it will be easier to handle. If it is still high temperature tin, it will be difficult to handle. Still the same, let each point get this kind of tin. In this case, it proved that the flux paste is not enough. Let's add a little more here. Change tin. Every point must be changed. See, there is a drop here. In the next lesson, we will teach you how to make up points with jumper. This seems to be a useful point, but let's not deal with it yet. After everything is cleaning up, still the same as the NAND lesson in the previous section. Take out our soldering wick and fold it in half and take tin off. At this time, you must wait until the temperature is enough. When you clean the tin, you have to wait until the temperature is enough. Clean a small area a little bit. You can use a little bit of force. You don't need to remove so much when you remove the glue in the pad, because the glue will come off by the way. Don't touch other places when you clean it. These drops are actually normal, because dropping this pot may be a heavy fall or something. These plates are easier to drop spot. These are common problems of Wi-Fi. It doesn't matter if everyone remove it. Like this, we can clean it like this. Every point is basically leveled, so that's it. Then clean with PCB water. Clean after every position. This makes it easy to observe where our paths have been processed well. Clean with PCB water. The pin is loosened when cleaning. Use a CXW to see if that pin is useful. If it is not used for GND point, NC point, those points, no need to make jumper. You must wash them all up. If not, just take a brush, it is okay. Generally, after we take it off with a soldering wick, there is usually no lube. Just deal with the details. Throw away the dirty cotton like this. Replace it with a new one. Continue to wipe. Wipe it clean. Pay attention for the pins, like this one is useful. It is normal to drop like this. It is not wiped off. It is normal in the location of this Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi of the iPhone 6, iPhone 6s is damaged always because there are many pins easy dropped. Still the same, use 217 degrees to clean glue. Because we just used the soldering wick to clean before, so this is what I want to teach you. In other words, after handle with soldering wick, the glue is much less. You only need to deal with the edge glue. First deal with the edge glue. When the temperature is up, we don't need to keep blowing. It can be pushed without blowing it, like this. We can blow it again. You can look at my air gun, the operation is the same. As long as the glue can move, I will move out my gun. Must be cleaning up. As long as the glue can be pushed, you can move out the gun. You don't need to keep blowing. If you keep blowing this thing, it is easy to damage. And the CPU on the back is not the same as the NAND. The NAND is large and the area is also large. For the thick glue like this, we also add a little bit of heat when handling. Add a little more heat when the glue cannot be pushed. A big piece like this is lost. Deal with it, like here. As long as the glue is thin, we don't need to deal with it. Because when we install Wi-Fi, this will not affect us. What will affect is that this side will cause it to be uneven or something. Like these black dirty things get off. In this case, after removing the glue, you can clean one more time also. Generally speaking, you don't need to clean one more time, because it is bigger point and it is not very small point. Now it is a very big spot, so you can choose to clean or not. Clean this for everyone. Still add a little flux. This soldering wick has just been used and cannot be used anymore. Cut it off. After cutting it off, use a soldering iron. The steps are almost the same. The thing to pay attention to is not to blow for too long. Just clean gently. Basically, there is no glue. Just suck it up. Another advantage of this way is that you can see which pin have been loosened. If you can take the pins off, means it have been loosened before. Otherwise, it will working not stable, because if you can't take it off and it is loosening the before, you may put the chip on it and the man will come back later. So you can take the loosened pin off. It is pretty flat and clean like this. If you can take it off, you can increase the soldering iron by a few degrees. We use 350 degrees. Everyone adjust your soldering iron, because every soldering iron is different. This is done. Clean the pad and install it. When the cotton is dirty after use, throw it away. You can see that it is very yellow and dirty, because it has absorbed a lot of dirty things, so throw it away. Very clean now. These 2 points are useful. This point is useful. Now I will not show you the supplement point by jumper. The following video will teach you how to make up those points by jumper. If you see the following video, you can jumper some points and you can install it in the same way. Now that the pad had been processed, we will proceed to deal with the Wi-Fi chip. You can see that there is still a lot of glue on the Wi-Fi chip. Still use the original method, add some soldering flux. Then use thin wire to replace high temperature tin with low temperature tin. If it moves, press it with tweezers and change the tin. You can also push the glue with a soldering iron when changing the tin. Now this black oxidized spot will shave it brightly, otherwise it won't be able to get tin. Use a soldering iron to touch the oxidized spot. Let the oxidized point be bright. A little bit is enough. Then add some soldering flux. Use thin wire. Fix it, touch it. Now this spot has been bright. After the oxidized point be bright, use the soldering wick to smooth the tin point. It is better for reballing if the tin points are flat. If the tin point is not flat, after reballing, the tin ball will be uneven. When you clean the tin, you can use a little force to take off the glue, so there is no need to remove the glue. The pad has been dragged clean. Clean the pad on the IC. After cleaning, the glue on this side must be treated, because it will also affect the installation. After the edge glue is cleaned, it have be flat. Then start reballing. Use a paper towel to cushion it. Use the reball stencil for reballing and ensure that the reball stencil is clean. Be sure to align the hole position. Every point can be seen. Take out a little tin. If it is very wet, use paper to absorb it. You don't need to soak it dry. It is almost enough. Right point. Just add the tin lightly when applying. Don't apply too much force, or the stencil will be squeezed and be curved, cause some point bigger. Start to plant the tin. In this step, the holding hand cannot move. It will cause dislocation. Now there is tin every point hole. Then we took out the clean room. Wipe off the excess tin with a clean room. Rub gently without too much force. After wiping, fix it with curved tweezers. Be sure to fix it. Don't press too hard or lightly. As long as this stencil is fixed, it does not affect you. The temperature of reball is 270, 380, 360 also okay. The temperature depends on how fast the tin solidifies. We can blow on it. When blowing, you can preheat it all around and then blow. That's it. Don't keep blowing. Keep blowing is useless. And it will also cause damage to the chip. Wait a few seconds before moving it. Now the tin has not solidified enough. Let it be cold. It has solidified like this. You can take it off. If it is not solidified and remove it, the tin ball will move. Then we do it again. It's a waste of time. Then there is solder flux on it. If not, just add a little bit. If you have some, you can also reset the tin ball. A little bit is enough, not too much needed. Join the chip for resetting. You can blow the flux in a circular motion when you reset the tin ball. Okay, that's it. The tin is already planted. Every point is very even. As long as every point is very even. Don't be bigger and smaller, so it is useless to install. If the tin point is uneven, the installation is also abnormal. Install Wi-Fi now. First, check if the pads are dry. Just clean it. Add a little soldering flux. You can also take a curved tweezer or strike tweezers. It must be clean. If the tweezers are dirty or with thin paste, it will cause thin connection, cause shorting. Spread out the soldering flux and heat it up if it doesn't spread out. Just heat it up a little bit. Then install the chip. If you install the chip, you can find the A1 corner by looking at the software CXW. This is the A1 corner with a white dot. Then there is a gray dot on this side. We can put this A1 corner on the software CXW or LAN array software. Just let A1 pin of the pad match the A1 pin of the chip. Then install. The points of this chip more dense than the NAND, so the chip cannot be too crooked. Just like this. Many people will ask if there is nothing for him to withstand the alignment. Everyone can do this, because we will definitely leave a trace when removing the glue. Then there is this kind of approximate location. This is too crooked. You can come a little bit. It is almost like this. Then when you blow again, the next thing is how to blow. We must not let the nozzle face the CPU. It is easy to get problems when blowing toward the CPU. So the chip is almost aligned. Let's use 320 degrees first, not 360 degrees. If the wind speed is too high, the chip will be blown away. Use clamp tweezers to hold it a little bit. Just fix it without picking it up or pressing it down, and then heat it up. Just hit one of the positions first. After heating, move out the gun. If the chip still moves, continue heating. We can also hit the whole chip. Okay, wait a while. The chip is slightly fixed below. Because the tin has melted a little bit here, it can be fixed slightly. It cannot be pushed here, because it is fixed a little bit now. Basically, it will automatically return to the position if you let the nozzle keep making a circle. You can see that it has been automatically returned. It moved by itself. Don't blow it for too long. After he returns, he will prepare to reset and push it out self. Don't keep blowing. Don't blow in this direction. Just blow this way. Blow to the side with nothing. I have just returned it to my position. I am just explaining to everyone. We will use tweezers to touch it gently immediately after it moves by itself. A little touch is enough. You don't need to push too much. If you push too much, there will be dots underneath. Just touch gently. When it has a rebound action, you can put down the hot air gun. If it is a NAND, the distance between NAND points is relatively large, so we can push a lot. This point is very small, so we cannot push too hard. Just push it lightly. You cannot press it. The tin inside will be squeezed by press. It will cause tin bolt connect and shorten. Then do not remove the motherboard immediately after installation. Wait for 30 seconds and take off the motherboard. If you are too anxious, the position of this one will change with a light touch. Changing the position when it has no solidification cooling will cause the chip not be installed successfully. Okay, this lesson is finished. You guys should practice more.